Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Wait a bit because people are trying to enter the meeting, so I have to admit them. Okay. Okay. We will start the class. So let's other enter the room. Okay. So I will accordingly admit them in the room. So let's start the class. So we will start today with your another module, right? And this particular module is your superficial and cutaneous mycosis. So we will start with superficial and cutaneous mycosis. Okay. So first point is that what is mycosis? Are you being able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. But there is
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you mean by mycosis? Who will tell me? Mycosis is basically the fungal infection. It is caused by the fungi which basically invade the surface of the skin. So that results in the disease which is called as mycosis. Mycosis is a whole spectrum of disease, right? Which is basically caused by your fungus. Am I clear or not? Now, as the name suggests, it is superficial mycosis. So superficial means on the surface. So it is superficial mycosis is it is limited to the outermost layer of the skin. So it is limited to the outermost layer of the skin, and it will not outermost layer of the skin. It will basically be it is basically being associated with the outermost layer of the skin, and you know that this is basically comprises of 4 different types of infection. These are the name of the disease, like Tiriasis vesicolor is one disease, then Tinea nigra is another disease, then black piedra, and then is your white piedra.
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Yes, I repeat. First is your 1 minute. Okay, first is your, so there are 4 different types of infection which is associated with the outermost layer of the skin. One is Tiriasis vesicolor, the outermost, there are 4 different diseases: Tiriasis vesicolor, Tinea nigra, black piedra, and white piedra. So these are the 4 different diseases or infections associated with your outermost layer of the skin caused by the fungus. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you
So
please repeat the second disease?
the second
Niagara?
disease, please follow the screen. The second disease is your tinea nigra. Please follow the screen.
Ma'am, the
Ma'am,
screen
is
nothing is showing
static.
on the
Ma'am,
screen.
the skin has been static with some folders.
Yes, what?
Ma'am, the skin has been static with some folders.
So are you not being able to see the screen?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
We are,
ma'am.
sir, we are
Ma'am,
seeing the
we
screen,
can
but
see
there
the
are only some
screen, but
folders.
yes, ma'am.
The
There
folders
are
you
only
are
some
not being able.
folders.
No, you are not being able to see the presentation.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Okay, let me see. Are you being able to see now?
No, ma'am, there is no
Nah,
presentation,
ma'am,
only the
ma'am, it's the
folders are
same.
there.
It's the
Now
same folders.
you cannot see.
No, ma'am, folders are being.
How is it possible? Now you can see. Now you
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So your next thing is that. So what I am saying that this is having 4 infection, that is Theriasis vesicular, tinea nigra, black piedra, and white piedra. Okay. Can you see the
Okay,
name?
ma'am.
Can you see the
Yes,
name?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is that superficial mycosis, some basic characters of superficial mycosis. First is that it do not elicit any immune response. So if you have this disease, it doesn't elicit any specific immune response like other disease. Now the second thing is that you may not have any discomfort. You may not have any discomfort associated with the disease. Like when we have a disease, we have some discomfort, some problems, right? Which actually let us know that yes, we are suffering from disease. So you may not have any discomfort. Now this can arise from a cosmetic problem. From some cosmetics also it may arise, and it is limited to the stratum corneum of the skin. Am I clear? So basically it is associated with the outermost layer of the skin. So next is your Theriasis vesicular. So what is your Theriasis vesicular? Theriasis vesicular is basically caused by a fungi called as Malassezia farfar. Malassezia farfar. You get to see on the screen, it is Malassezia farfar. So it is a lipophilic yeast-like organism. So it basically a yeast which loves to have your lipid. So they basically grow in lipid. So they are lipophilic yeast. And you know that in your skin where there is sebaceous gland, they are more prone to those sites. Okay. And the plates or you know the growth medium, if you supplement with fatty acid, you can grow Malassezia farfar. You know, Malassezia farfar is also being seen in the scalp. You can get to see this lipophilic yeast on the scalp as well. And if you see it under the microscope, it is a budding yeast. So it will bud, right? And occasionally it is hyphal. Sometimes you get to see the hyphae. Okay. Now see, this is your Theriasis vesicular. You get to see pigmentation in the skin. See black colored pigment throughout the skin. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Yes,
when you
ma'am.
get to see this black colored pigment, right? So this particular black colored pigments, if you you have this type of reaction in your skin, you will not have any itching or anything like that. So you will not have any discomfort. Only you get to see the pigmentation. So that is why they are saying that you will not have any discomfort. Okay? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is your lesions are also found. This type of lesions are found in torso, in the arm, and in the abdomen. Even if you sometimes you have chalky appearance because scales come out of the skin. So as the scale comes out, your skin will become chalky. So that is your chalky appearance. And rarely papular or grow like folliculitis. Now folliculitis is the inflammation of the hair follicles. So you know that severe devastating infection can happen if you don't treat folliculitis. So they do not produce any folliculitis, rarely produce folliculitis. So they basically form scaling of the skin, pigmentation of the skin, and they are basically caused by the fungus. And you know that one of the biggest problem, gravest problem of fungus and bacteria is that bacteria can easily be removed by antibiotics. But even if you add antifungal agent for the fungus, you know that it will come back again and again because they can survive in the form of spores, and spores are resistant to various harsh conditions. So elimination of this fungus or elimination of the disease takes a lot of time if it is mycosis. Am I clear or not? Whether it is superficial mycosis or it is your systematic mycosis, whatever it is very difficult to be treated. Now this is the clinical diagnosis. Clinical diagnosis, spaghetti and meatballs. See, these are spaghetti and meatballs. You know that this is particular image in which you have, these are the spaghetti-like structure, right? They look like spaghetti-like structure. So that is why under microscope it says it looks like spaghetti, and these round structures are the spore, which is your meatballs. And they are treated by the enzyme, the drug azoles. Am I clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I will move on to another disease, which is your tinea nigra. So next, I will move on to another disease, that is your tinea nigra. Now, tinea nigra is caused by Exophiala warnecki. Exophiala warnecki, which produces melanin, black or brown in color. So they produce a melanin which is black and brown in color, and they grow as yeast, older hyphae with mycelia and conidia. So they have hyphae sometimes with mycelium, and they have conidia-like structure. Now, if you see this particular hand, you get to see that here is a lesion. Can you see the lesion? Okay.
Yes,
So this lesion is gray to black, macular palms. So in the palms, you may have the lesion, and this is your macular lesion on the hand. And if you want to diagnose this disease, you have to take out the scrapings of the skin, and you have to do alkali staining. Okay. Culture. So the organism can be taken out from the skin scraping and can be inoculated in subrods medium. You will get to have pigmented yeast and hyphae. So I told you that subrods medium, we always do SDA for isolation of yeast. So SDA can isolate some of the deadly pathogenist yeast. So one have to take a huge precaution while using this medium. Am I clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we will move on to this disease, that is your black piedra. Black piedra. It is caused by Piedraria haughty, existing telomorphic state. So you know that this is the organism is your Piedraria haughty, and the culture is basically being obtained as in asexual state, asexual spores-like structure. Telomorphic means ascospore, which contains spindle-shaped ascospore. So asci is that particular cup in which you have spindle-shaped ascospore. So they are basically ascomycetes, and that is why they are having the asci. Am I clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So the clinical features of black piedra is presence of hard nodules found along the infected hair shaft. So in the hair shaft, you get to have nodules. You get to have nodules, hard nodules on the hair shaft. And the nodules basically, if you brushed the nodules basically comprises of this asci. So if they are surviving in the form of spores, so you understand that even if you have the harsh condition, the harshest condition, the stressed condition, then only they will also survive. So that is why elimination of the disease is very difficult. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I move on to the next disease, that is your white piedra, which is caused by your Trichosporon begeli. Trichosporon begeli. It grows in the media without cyclohexamide. So if you don't add cyclohexamide, then the growth of the organism will occur. The cultural characteristics of the organism is it is pasty and white. So the colony is pasty and white. And you have deep radiating furrows, and it is usually yellow and creamy colonies. So the colonies are basically your yellow and your creamy colonies. Now, if you go for the microscopic examination, septed hyphae that develops into arthroconidia. So it is again the conidium. You know, ascoscar conidium. If you see penicillium, penicillium actually forms conidia, in which the asexual spores are basically being associated or stored. So you get to see in the hair, which is soft, pasty, creamy colored growth. So you will get a soft, pasty, creamy colored growth on the hair. And that is basically your white piedra. So since it is pasty and creamy and really white in color, so that is why it is called as white piedra. So treatment is skin removal of the organism. You can remove the organism, kill the organism by selenium sulfide, thiosulfate, salicylic acid, hyposulfide, miconazole. So ketoconazole type of the drug is also there, fungal drug. So apart from selenium sulfide, thiosulfate, salicylic acid, hyposulfide, you can also inhibit by the drug miconazole. It is miconazole. Okay? Am I clear? So the first part of my slide is on the superficial mycosis. So the next part of my slide is your cutaneous mycosis. Cutaneous. Skin. It is affecting the skin. It is affecting the hair. It is affecting the nails. So you get to see the infection in the skin, in the hair, in the nails. What is the difference between superficial and cutaneous? It evokes cellular immune response. Your superficial mycosis do not evoke cellular immune response, but here it evokes cellular immune response. Okay. And they are basically your dermatophytes. They are also called as dermatophytes because they are associated with some dermatological reactions on the skin. One of the greatest example you may be knowing, ringworm. Ringworm. Have you ever seen round-like structure on the skin?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
usually apply you apply Candid B to remove it. So that is basically your ringworm or tinea. We call it tinea. Okay. So the etiology is given. That means the organism which basically causes this type of mycosis is given. That is your microsporium.
12-8 ছিল
Yes.
রিংওয়ার্মটা 12 ছিল আমাদের
Exactly. So etiology means the causative agent, microsporium species, trichophyton species, epidermophyton species. Microsporium, trichophyton, epidermophyton. Now, when we talk of cutaneous mycosis, there are basically classified as anatomic location, and your ecologic location. So you have two locations, anatomic location and your ecologic location. Anatomic location, based on that you have tinea pedis, tinea corporis, tinea curis, tinea capitis. So these are the four tinea. These are the four group of disease. Okay. And ecological location is geophilic, zoophilic, and anthrophilic. Geophilic, zoophilic, and your anthrophilic. Okay. So cutaneous mycosis is keratophilic. That means they use keratin as subject to live. So they are parasites, but they are not parasite. They act like a parasite, and they use keratin as a subject, keratin as that particular source to live. That is why they are called as keratophilic. Moreover, they are also having keratinases, which invades only the keratinized layer. So in the keratinized layer, the invasion is done. Am I clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So the basic type of dermatophytic infections are, the basic type of dermatophytic infections are the acute or inflammatory type of infection. So it is an acute inflammatory type of infection which is associated with basically various types of fungi and generally heal spontaneously and respond nicely to treatments. So they are inflammatory in nature. Inflammation means that there is a immune response to the disease. Am I clear?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
chronic or inflammatory type of infection associated with the failure to express the CMI to the fungus at the site of infection is relapsing and responding and poor to the treatment. So there are two types of disease basically. One is associated with the relapsing and recurring infections. Another is one infection which occurs spontaneously and respond nicely to the treatment. So some people who have the first option, they are easily responding to the treatment. Some people who are having the second option, they will have relapsing and responding recurring infection, and the treatment they will not actually have proper treatment, or if the treatment is also being given, it will not have proper result. So can you see this cutaneous mycosis? You get to see the nails. These nails are degraded. You get to see the hair. You get to see white patch on the scalp. So this is your tinea corporis, lesion on the skin. Any part of the skin. It may be hand, it may be leg, it may be anywhere in the body. This is tinea corporis. Okay. There are many other tinea groups like tinea unguum. Tinea unguum is actually the one in which the nail is being affected. Okay. The patient infected with dermatophyte may show a lesion often on the hand from which no fungus can be recovered or demonstrated. It is believed that these lesions, which often occur on the dominant hand like right-handed or left-handed, are secondary to immunological sensitization, right, to a primary infection located somewhere else. So somewhere else there is the primary infection and you have immune response. But these are the secondary locations. Some other location, the infection has spread. So these infections do not have the immunological sensitization as that of your primary infection located somewhere in the body. The secondary lesion will not respond to topical treatment, but will resolve if the primary infection is successfully treated. See, it is linked with the primary infection. So if the primary infection is treated, automatically the secondary infection will also be treated. But if you try to treat the secondary infection without treating the primary infection, I'm very sorry to say it will not be resolved. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So the laboratory diagnosis, scraping from clinical specimens. You can take out the scrapes. Like here, endothrix Spores inside the hair shaft can be taken out. Ectothrics outside the hair shaft. Exception T. This is Squenleni disease. It is actually a disease which is having a waxy mass of hypal element. Okay, which basically is formed on the skin, and you know get to see it in the microscope as degenerated hyphal element. So the hypha which you will be seeing in the microscope is basically degenerated, right? Now, this cutaneous mycosis can be grown in culture, can grow in selective media containing cyclohexamide or chloramphenicol. Identification is based on conidia. So if conidia is present, then the identification is being done. So this is a culture which is of the ringworm. You get to see the plate and these yellow colored colonies which are the ringworm, the colony of the ringworm. Okay, this is your microsporium. See, this is your microsporium. You have myceliums. Okay, and you have, see, this hypha is septed. You get to see seption. You get to see that there are septed hypha in this particular figure. So this is your septed hyphae. Am I clear? Okay, so you know,
ম্যাম একটা কোশ্চেন আছে।
have all. Yes.
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, ডার্মাটোফাইটস মিন মানে?
Dermatophytes are those organisms which is basically invading the dermis, the skin, the dermal layer of the skin.
ডার্মাল লেয়ার কি ইনফেক্ট করে?
Ah, yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the organisms like microsporium, numerous thick walled, rough. Microconidia is not there, sometime there. Epidermophyton, numerous smooth walled organism. Microconidia is absent. Trichophyton, rare thin walled smooth and abundant microconidia is there. So see, this is microsporium. So it is having this type of spores. These are all your spores. This is your trichophyton. So see, this is the trichophyton. Okay, this is your microsporium. If you amplify the image, you get to see like this. Epidermophytum flocosum. This is your epidermophytum flocosum. You know that here we do not have any Burgess manual to identify the organism. Here, by just looking at the picture, looking at the image, and their presence of conidia, presence of ascospore, presence of morphology, we will be able to distinguish the fungus. Okay. So this is, see, this is a reaction. You get to see in the soles of the feet, there is scaling. So this is also caused by the tinea. Okay. So diagnosis is based on anatomical site infected. Which site is infected? What type of lesion is being done? Okay. Scales are being taken out, right? Examination of KOH treated skin. So that skin are treated with KOH and it is seen under microscope. Even the culture of the organism is done. If you don't understand the type of organism, you grow them in culture and then you understand what type of microorganism is there. Am I clear? And these are some differential diagnosis. In a differential diagnosis, you must also consider the leprosy, secondary syphilis, Tiriasis rosea, psoriasis. There are many other diseases, eczema, lichen, planus. So these are some of the other differential diagnosis, different kind of diagnosis with the same kind of your symptoms. Treatment is that azoles. Azoles are those which inhibit cytochrome 450 dependent enzyme system at the demethylation step from lanosterol to ergosterol. So when they produce lanosterol to ergosterol, they require this cytochrome 450 dependent enzyme. So azole basically inhibit the cytochrome 450 dependent enzyme system, and thus conversion of the lanosterol to ergosterol is stopped. Am I clear? So their growth is stopped. Other organisms, other drugs are grigiofulvin. Okay, so grigiofulvin will have oral effects, and also it will affect the microtubular system, and it will kill the organism. Am I clear or not? Okay. So for this class, this is I will be teaching till this one, because you don't have this disease like blastomycosis and all those things. You just have tinea, that is a superficial mycosis, and the dermatomycosis. So both of the thing, that is your superficial mycosis and your dermatomycosis, has been covered. Okay. So do you have any questions and doubts? Do you have any questions and doubts?
No.
So I will send you the notes. Okay? The notes on mycosis.
Okay.
Okay. So this particular slide I have already sent you in the Google Classroom. I have already sent this slide in your Google Classroom, and
Yes,
I will
ma'am.
send this video as well. The video which we had are there in this class. I will also send that. And associated with that, I have some notes on Brock, because this portion is there in the Brock biology. So I will take a picture of the Brock biology, the scan of the Brock biology, and I can send you in the Google Classroom. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. So I am ending the meeting. Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what about the examination? Like they will take online exam?
Let's see. Let's hope for the best that the corona goes out and we are into the college.
Ma'am, if the lockdown extends, then we will be facing online examination or what?
Is it possible? I don't think so that we will have this online examination. How the online examination is conducted, I don't know. Because you cannot sit back home and give the examination, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
The
ma'am.
examination center for online examination, not just you can sit back home and give the examination. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So hope I think you have understood the topic. So
Yes,
you go
ma'am.
through the slide. You go through the slide, and I will give you the notes. I think it will be okay. So
Okay, ma'am.
stay safe, stay
Okay, ma'am.
healthy. Okay. Don't go out of
Yes,
your
ma'am.
home. Maintain the lockdown.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Uh,